Finally, fucking hell. Hello, everyone. Drew here for Drew That Underground and Breaking Rocks episode 41 here on YouTube.com on this fine September day, which just happens to be September 11th, 2022. So, obviously, on today's stream, we will at some point get into our thoughts and memories of that day and what have you back in 2001. And I'm hearing an echo through my headset from your end, bro.
Hmm. Don't know why that would be. I don't have your audio coming in any secondary speaker.
Whatever. At any rate, obviously you guys hear him. My younger brother, Desert Nord, is here. Hey, bro.
Hey there.
So, with that in mind, Queen Elizabeth II has passed away at the age of 96, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well,
that was kind of the news of the week on that one.
I would say the news of the century because she's been Queen of Great Britain for 70 years.
Yep. Going on 71 almost.
Yeah. So that's why, well, this stream is to pay homage to her legacy, her reign as Queen of England.
Yeah.
If for no other reason, we're Americans, so we shouldn't care, but I genuinely care because of how she approached interacting with the United States. And when 9/11 happened, just coincidence that we're having to do this on September 11th, she broke hundreds of years of tradition to pay homage to the United States in the days after September 11th at the time.
It's the thing I would say though is that it's not easy to take a situation where you had good relations. Okay, when she took the throne, when she assumed the throne, 1952, you had good relations between the United States and the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty strong. But what's not easy is it's not easy to keep those strong relations going for 70 years.
And she
nations don't usually stay strong allies for that long.
Yeah.
Or more. Because, and this is something I had explained to people, the United States and the UK hadn't been strong allies until World War I and II took place. After World War II, we were pretty much strong allies. And to be able to keep that going for 70 more years, hence all the way up to today, and to be able to maintain somewhat most of what you could call the British Empire that she was inherited, is an impressive task. And that's an impressive task for anyone, regardless of their gender, regardless of their upbringing, regardless of anything. That's an impressive task of governance.
Yeah.
Anyone. And to do it gracefully, to do it with your people loving you mostly, to do it even underneath the love of people of other nations who are not even your subjects.
Yeah.
And she really is the greatest queen that we've seen, maybe ever.
Yeah. In light of so many scandals of the other members of the royal family through the years, the one constant was her. I've been watching Newsmax since I heard about her passing by way of Newsmax TV and whatnot.
Yeah.
And as I've said, like on other people's channels in the last day or so, and also privately to our mom, I've learned more about British government happenings and whatever in the last 48 hours to 3 days than I had in my entire life to that point because of her passing.
Yeah. And the thing I would say is that, of course, it's not that it's been a smooth ride for her and her kingdom.
Yeah.
But it's been one that any bumps that came along anything that reared its head, she was capable of handling without the country having struggled further because of errors. She didn't make them. She didn't do things wrong. Maybe she didn't fix everything. No leader ever could. But she definitely was a damn good purveyor of British palace culture and British nobility and
class,
the pride of England. Mm-hmm. All of the history that came before her was purveyed very well by her reign.
Yeah,
and
indeed.
She was pretty much what we would call an enlightened ruler. She was not a tyrant. She was not a dictator. She was not iron-fisted. She was not heavy-handed. She was graceful. She was respectful to even other nations, especially allies. She was relatively hands-off. She allowed Parliament to do mostly what the British people wanted, for the most part, policy-wise, and oversaw probably the greatest period in British history in terms of success for the country.
For those watching that will watch this live, sorry for the reaction in my face. On another screen, I have the Bears Niners game going, and I was reacting to a tackle of Trey Lance. He landed right on his fucking head.
The poor guy.
Yeah, so he essentially got what Nord and I called cobbed, except for his helmet didn't crack.
Yeah.
Now, for those that don't know what getting cobbed is, there was a quarterback for the Eagles by the name of Kevin Cobb who got tackled from behind and slammed headfirst into the turf by, I believe it was Clay Matthews of the Packers at the time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, and he got a concussion. His helmet cracked, and he was essentially done playing football for the rest of his career because of that tackle, for lack of a better term.
And then there's the other one, the Packers version of that, which is called the Jermichael Finley.
Yeah.
Which is even worse, if that's possible.
Indeed.
But anyway.
But on the upside, Lance did get up and leave the field, and he seems all right, so.
Yeah.
But still, the way that his helmet moved when he hit the ground, I'm like, oh, God, I hope his neck didn't snap.
Yeah.
But still. But anyway, back to what you were saying about her former Royal Majesty, the Queen.
The thing I was going to say, just sort of aside from that, it's like, hey, Joshy's here.
Hey, Joshy. Welcome to our celebration of the life and legacy of Her Royal Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II. So we were just talking about Queen Elizabeth II, her passing, her legacy of honor, and effectively being the glue that held the British Empire together for the last 70 years. And the good relations that she had with us in the United States, especially after her tribute to our country in the days after September 11th, which just so happens that's today. So,
yeah, and we'll get to that.
Oh yeah, we certainly will. That's definitely on the card to talk about.
What I was going to say though is that obviously her passing and her legacy means far more to Britons than it does to Americans.
Yeah.
That is an obvious statement.
Mm-hmm.
But what the impact of her passing will have going forward will, I think, also impact Britons more than Americans, but will impact all of us.
And
the same.
Yeah, and I am willing to declare at this point that her passing is, what's the best way to put this? Her passing is going to leave the world in just a little bit more darkness than it was with her still here across the entire world.
Just as we sort of, just as we have to mourn when a person of great cultural import passes away,
mm-hmm.
we should also mourn when a person of great governmental leadership quality and greatness in that regard passes, we should mourn them similarly. Now, obviously, like I said, Americans don't have a lot to be bothered about. Britons have much more to be bothered about this.
Especially,
mostly because we're not her subjects; they are. They were.
Especially with we don't know how things are going to turn out with King Charles.
Yeah. And I mean, that's where that new can of worms just opens right up.
Which reminds me of a joke that you made last night about Queen Regent Camilla.
Yeah, the Queen Consort Camilla. Yeah. Lovely phrase, isn't it?
Yeah.
The joke that I made was like the joke about, hey, if you're a side chick out there somewhere, keep believing, because it can happen to you. that was the joke I was making about that. Because Camilla's gone from streetwalker to Queen Consort.
Yeah.
That's quite a leap.
Yeah, and that also reminds me of something that our mom said when she was watching our gaming podcast last night on the main channel. She was saying that there were some political undertones to what we were talking about, and there were two thoughts in my head. One, I actually said to Mom, "Well, considering that everything is injected with politics and entertainment and everything that we are supposed to care about or try to still care about, have fun not having political undertones and talking about things that get injected with politics and every fucking thing, but still."
Sure, it's the consequences of wokeism and Anita Sarkeesian.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But also the other thing that I didn't say to Mom that I almost did, well, just wait for Breaking Rocks tomorrow, Ma.
Yeah. Obviously, the political show is highly political.
Yeah. But speaking of highly political, you've been silent so far, Joshy.
Yes, our lovely little band friend.
So on that note, Joshy, you've been banned from Twitter.
Yes, I have.
What the fuck happened?
I basically said the N-word towards the new trailer for Little Mermaid.
And that'll do it.
You said it at the trailer or in the comments to people on Twitter?
In the comments.
In the comments on Twitter.
Because if you send it to the trailer's not going to ban you.
No.
Trailers can't do shit other than play over and over and over again. And at that point, if I was forced to watch a trailer for Little Mermaid over and over again 100 times, I'd ban myself from Twitter.
Yep.
But then again, maybe I should just do that anyway, but still.
I just might make another account, possibly with like a new email, and possibly go back on Twitter, possibly.
So while Twitter cancels you, you always get uncanceled every time you pop in on the Breaking Rocks or whatever we're doing. So,
yep.
So on that note, the world is a lesser place without Queen Elizabeth II in it.
Yeah, her passing is one of the more, how should I say, impactful passings of our lifetime. And in fact, the other thing I wanted to point out, maybe you already know this, but no one in our immediate family was alive when she became queen.
Yes.
That's how long it's been.
Yes, I know. All of our grandfather, or both of our grandfathers.
Not grand. I said immediate family. I didn't. Not our grandparents. Our grandparents were alive, but our parents were not.
I was trying to go through a list of those that were alive when she took office that aren't.
Well, that's a lot of people. I was talking about people who weren't, because that's a smaller list.
And I was specifically going those that we immediately knew that aren't around, like both of our grandfathers, because we had only two grandfathers, two grandmothers. I almost held up 3 fingers.
Our grandparents were in their 20s and 30s when she took the throne.
Mm-hmm.
They were our age or less when she took the throne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the last of our grandparents passed away like 2 or 3 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it was close with it.
And by the way, of course, the Queen was 26. She was born in 1926, the 21st of April, 1926, and she was 26 years old when she took the throne.
And she was 20, and she was 21 when she pledged herself to her people, knowing that eventually she was going to be queen, like soon thereafter.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then imagine having the maturity at 21 years old to pledge yourself to the service of an empire that you could have easily said, nah.
Yeah, and I said this on Talking Pinheads yesterday on JetSpark's channel. Have fun trying to find a world leader that not only lived that long in office or in the leadership role of the country or whatever term you want to use, that actually kept letter for letter in each and every word their oath to their people, their position, their oath of office, whatever. You're only going to find one person, I feel, throughout modern history, and now she's gone.
Yeah, she is one of the greatest monarchs of recorded history.
I would declare
from the top 5 for sure.
God damn, the Niners are really shit hammering Fields. I feel sorry for the guy.
Oh yeah, that game's rough, man. That game's rough.
Rough, wet, and sloppy. Kind of like two old people fucking. Anyway.
Yeah.
Ew.
But yeah, we didn't have Joshy say anything. If he has anything to say about Elizabeth II, or maybe not, who knows?
Yeah. Well, Joshy, your thoughts on Queen Elizabeth and her legacy of class and dignity? Well, that's a short speech.
He must have cut out.
Joshy, are you still there, brother?
I'm here. I'm still here.
Your thoughts on Queen Elizabeth and her legacy of honor and being the glue for the British people that kept everything together for them?
Say rest in peace and my blessings.
Yeah.
Like Az and Disbrew, who are British subjects.
Yeah. And all I'll say in closing is I do appreciate all of it, and I do hope that the British people can maintain the level of dignity that she brought.
And
I hope that it continues.
Well, it can only continue through her son, King Charles. So we'll see.
Yeah. What a joke that is. But anyway.
So on that note, we'll switch gears with me ending this with God rest the Queen. Your duty has been fulfilled, Your Highness.
Well, let me just say one more thing. Okay, the Queen Elizabeth II passing and having King Charles take the throne is literally like going from having Tom Brady as your quarterback to having a practice squad rookie. I mean,
that's fair.
I'm just saying.
So, Your Majesty, Queen Elizabeth, thank you for being who you were. Time for you to rest, Your Highness, and God save us with the King.
Yeah, and they call her Queen Mother, but we could also call her Goat Queen, because she is.
I would dare declare her Queen of the world.
Well, no, I mean she's Queen of the British Empire, not Queen of anything else.
What I mean by that is
let's not get too nervous about it.
What I mean by that is the level of character that she possessed is something that should hopefully be carried through other world leaders is what I mean.
Yeah, it's important that people be inspired by her, her legacy. It's a very important thing. And to be humbled by her choices and her way of governing, her way of leading.
And on that note, before we get to our 9/11 business here, there's some stark comparison here between Queen Elizabeth, who acted like a benevolent leader, who was a royal, a queen, a monarch. And then you have someone like Brandon, who's not a monarch, who's acting like fucking one.
Yeah, you remember I said about that practice squad rookie? Yeah, he's worse than a practice squad rookie. He's a pompous ass, first overall pick guy who thinks he's better than he really is, who can't seem to throw a pass without breaking both his legs.
He is the water boy that the former owner of the Oakland Raiders drafted in the first round to be the water boy for the Raiders.
Yeah, he's like Ryan Leaf, but like 10 times worse.
Al Davis drafted Biden to be the water boy in the first round of the NFL draft from whatever college. Because keep in mind that Al Davis also drafted a kicker in the first round and a punter. No one else has ever done that in history. No, to be fair, it was Sebastian Janikowski, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, literally the greatest kicker probably in the entire history of the NFL.
But that's beside the point. You don't draft kickers in the first round.
Except for maybe Mort Anderson. I'll give him that.
I would still go with Seabass.
It'd still be close.
Yeah.
But anyway.
On that note.
Brandon, really, Joe Biden should just shut the fuck up really right now. The last person I want to hear in a conversation about the second is Joe Biden.
So
that's like I don't know. That's like comparing a delicious entree from some master chef to literally poop from a dumpster.
Yeah. So on that note, with Mom's comment about the gaming stream last night had political undertones. Hold our beer, Ma. All three of our beers. Because this is breaking rocks. So political undertones. There's no undertones here, Ma.
Yeah, it's overtones.
Yeah. This is where we talk about whatever is bothering us.
We're putting down political bars. Yeah.
Well, I believe Joshy works construction, so he literally puts down metal bars.
Well, no, I meant more thing. We're spitting bars, man. We ain't doing undertones.
But on that note, it's September 11th, 2022. 21 years ago.
Yes, it is.
Our nation was attacked by extremist terrorists from Al-Qaeda. Not to be confused with who Joe Biden views as terrorists today, High Nord. Yeah, and also parents at student board meetings.
Sure, yeah.
Those are not terrorists. The ones that
terrorists that's been completely misdefined as of late.
In modern day, yeah, which is depressing because on 9/12, we went from being the most unified that our nation has ever been to where we are today. Which makes me feel like that it's inevitable that there's going to be another 9/11 at some point with this current administration.
It's it's inevitability when you get, an imbalance like that, though. Okay, high strung, high emotion, come togethers always end up breaking.
Yeah.
And Americans were already basically relatively tight to begin with. Right? So you had a relative dropping of everything after 9/11. You had a dropping of all disagreements, all sort of partisanship. You had a real, and in a way it was good, but in other ways it was bad. Because when people do that, they stop thinking.
Yeah.
And a lot of the reaction to 9/11 was good in the social sense, and some of it was bad. But a lot of the reaction in the policy sense was a disaster.
Yeah.
The policies we came up with after it were a disaster.
Yeah, like the Patriot Act.
Sure, that's the first one that comes to mind.
Yeah.
And the endless wars, which, after much insane levels of waste and insane levels of loss of life and insane levels of telling ourselves we were doing good and insane levels of cope and all of that, we basically wasted the better part of 20 years in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the hell even was gained, because that's not even where we got bin Laden, right? So we accomplished what the British say, fuck all in Afghanistan.
Yeah. Took us, 10 years, maybe more, to finally get bin Laden?
Yeah, and then, Pakistan was where the dude was. So this was stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like literally going into your bathroom to look for lunch. It's like, that's not where lunch is kept, you idiot.
Unless you want to have a shit-eating grin on your face.
Is it the Afghan and Iraq war, for that matter, were two wars where America literally starved to death in the wrong room of their house, looking for something that wasn't there, that they should have known wasn't there.
Yeah.
And then lying to themselves and saying that that's not what they went in there for. It's like, yeah, the fuck it was. We lie to ourselves and say that we went into disable dictators and rebuild their countries. It's like, after 9/11, you mean from 16 of the hijackers of 9/11 being Saudi Arabians? You mean that was the countries that we should have invaded? Yeah, okay. I'm just saying, none of it ever made sense, and the only way to make it make sense, which by the way led to the whole truther movement on 9/11, involving the Bush administration causing it and all that, Bush did 9/11 hashtag and all that, is a way of explaining an irrational policy. Yeah. It's a way of explaining two wars that otherwise make no sense. Okay, but are they correct? Well, probably not. Just because something makes sense politically doesn't make it true. We've seen that many times.
Yeah, on that note, I do want to ask you, Joshy, when exactly did you first enlist in our armed forces, brother? Josh?
You're talking about when I joined the military?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
2001.
So it was because of 9/11 then?
Kind of, yes.
Yeah. And sure, and that perfectly illustrates the point that you were making about the unity that Americans felt after the event, after 9/11.
And there were many stories of people that did just like Joshy did in the days, because there's a commercial for the Wounded Warriors Project that I constantly see when I'm watching Newsmax's live streams, that they constantly play a commercial for that. And over the course of the last few days, it's been their 9/11 version of that commercial, talking about veterans who enlisted in the military because of 9/11. And there was one guy that they usually have talking in it that simply said on 9/11, he made 3 phone calls to his parents, to his wife or girlfriend or whatever, and to his army recruiter was the third one. Yeah.
Yep.
And there's a lot of stories like that from people who were like, we got attacked. I'm gonna go respond. Joshy was one of the ones that went to respond. So thank you, Joshy.
Yep. So what I wanted to also point out, I'm sure you wanted to discuss also, bro, was the whole sort of memory of the day.
And which we were eventually going to get to, and now's a good time for that. So.
Yeah, I was in my 5th grade class, and it was a normal day. And, in the morning is about, I believe it was just after 9 o'clock. I know that the event started at 8 o'clock in New York.
Yeah. When the first plane hit, yeah, that
there's
was
like
recorded by like a very small like C movie that was
yes,
being made.
yeah, they were making a documentary and they were interviewing
About
some firefighters
yeah,
within view of the towers when they caught the first plane going in.
yeah.
Um,
And I remember seeing footage of that
yeah,
in one of my classes in high school, like a couple years later when I was like a senior in like an American literature class or something.
but yeah, they teacher rolled in a television and put on CNN, and most of my fifth grade class got to witness the second plane hitting the World Trade Center.
Yeah.
We were all 10-year-olds. Well, 9 or 10-year-olds. I was 10.
Yeah,
Actually not. I was not quite 10. Or wait, hold on. No, I was 10. I was almost 11. Sorry, I was 10. I was almost 11.
I was a sophomore in high school. I had just sat down to the table in my classroom. It was my first class of the day, which was a study hall or org skills class, and I was starting to work on my algebra homework when like several problems into my homework that I had completed at that point, a teacher flung the door open and went, "A plane just flew into the World Trade Center," which planes fly into buildings on accident every now and then, right? So at the time, we thought nothing of it.
It had happened in history several times, yes.
Yeah. And at the time, we were led to believe that it was like a small, like one-man plane or something like that, right?
Yeah, he probably didn't describe it very well, and a lot of the reports were confused. People thought it was just some, dumb Cessna pilot who didn't, somehow see the building or whatever.
But it was the clearest day in nation's history too. But
it was that Tuesday morning. That was one of the clearest days in the Northeast had in a long time,
if ever. But
well, I mean, just crystal blue skies, no clouds, nothing.
Yeah, but
calm winds, just perfect weather.
I was just wrapping up my algebra homework when the same teacher flung our door open, this time even harder, and actually dented the wall behind it, saying a second plane just flew into the other building, and this was a passenger liner. So we just happened to have a TV in the classroom at the time. Our teacher just wheeled it in front of the chalkboard, turned it on, and while you were being subjugated to CNN, our teacher had on Fox News.
Yeah, it varies, of course.
Yeah. So that was the rest of the day at my high school. In the concourse, Fox News or CNN were on different screens in the concourse throughout the day with the coverage of the 9/11 attacks throughout the day. And eventually, when I got home, I slammed the door shut, whip around on the TV in the living room. I think it was like World Trade Center 7 or something like that, collapsed as I slammed the door shut. And for like half a second, I'm like, there's no fucking way.
Yeah, but
yeah.
What I was going to say, though, is that so after my class had witnessed, plane 2 hitting,
yeah,
the teacher decided to, ixnay the television from the room because this was clearly not something that
10-year-olds should be watching.
10-year-olds needed to witness. At that point, she realized that this was obviously a terrorist attack, and she was clearly very emotional. In fact, I remember her crying, but she decided to turn it off, roll it out, and say to us that obviously something terrible is happening, but I don't want you guys to be alarmed. I don't want you to be afraid. You're safe here. She did her best, like a teacher would when they care about you.
Yeah. I remember at some point in one of my classes, I can't remember which one, but some student asked one of our teachers, "Are we safe here and whatnot?" And our teacher went, "There's no way a plane's going to fly into a school in the middle of southeast Minnesota. Come on."
People get neurotic, but I didn't know that day anything else that happened after that. I didn't know anything until I got home.
Yeah, when I got home
I didn't know that I didn't know the buildings came down. I didn't know how many, how devastating this all was until I got home.
Yeah, and as soon as I whipped around and had that moment with the building collapsing on the TV and the slamming of the door, Dad was in the kitchen, and Dad called me in the kitchen as he wanted to talk, and he wanted to tell me what his day was like.
Oh,
And
sure. He thought it was a movie that he was watching on
yeah,
television.
yeah, he he thought he was watching a disaster movie, and then he realized, oh shit.
Yeah, wait, what the hell? I'm actually on a news channel. This is news. This is happening.
Yeah.
And he had a moment of like shocked panic of like, what the hell? I didn't even realize that.
Yeah. Dad thought he was watching a movie. And Joshy, what were your memories of that day in 2001?
Well, I was sleepy though, so my mom woke me up. It was like, "Oh, we're being attacked," and I'm like thinking that basically like, what are we getting like a freaking like egg out of the garage? And then like I woke up and like went to the TV, and there's like all of a sudden like, we got like airplanes going towards this towers.
Yeah.
So what the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
We're being attacked.
And how old were you at the time, Joshy? You were, because I was a sophomore in high school, so I was about 16 or so. So I imagine you would have been about the same age, like 17, I think.
Possibly. Because I'm 39 right now, so.
Yeah, and I'm 38, so you would had to have been 17 then.
Yeah.
17, 18, yeah.
Yep, fresh adult.
Yeah. So
you're really the only person here that can give you the adult point of view of what it was like that day.
Technically. Just barely, Rob, just barely.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, he's the only one that can give the full adult perspective of what it was like as an adult that day in this chat here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was like half asleep and whatnot. I was like watching it on TV, so like whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So what were your basically when you realized the full magnitude of what you were witnessing? How did it go at that point? Like when you fully realized what this was, or maybe did it not sink in for weeks or months? Did it not like sink in right away at all?
It didn't sink in for a couple weeks.
Well, we do know that it sunk in eventually because it led to you enlisting in the military.
Yeah.
But yeah, those were our memories of 9/11, and once again, thank you, Joshy, for trying to find Bin Laden.
Yes, well, regardless of the details of your service, we do appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Indeed. And thank you to all of you that enlisted in the military because of 9/11 and went to go try to find Bin Laden. And thank you for those that eventually did get him. So.
Yeah.
Which that also brings up another memory of what it was like when we heard that the Obama administration had taken care of Bin Laden. Because that was also a thing too, apparently.
And it's important. The disclaimer that I would give on the side of all that is to all the people who decided to treat your Islamic neighbors like shit. That's a no thank you on that one.
Yeah.
And to all of you who decided to support shitty policies, that's also a no thank you. And to all the people who decided to hoard groceries afterwards, that was also a silly thing to do.
Like the ones that did that at the start of COVID too.
Yes, and on the positive end, the other thank you that has to go out is to people who went to donate blood, because that was a very good thing to see.
Absolutely. So, on that note, I forgot what else I wrote in the description beyond 9/11 and Queen Elizabeth. So, is there anything else you guys have in mind? Because the only thing that I wrote down to talk about was Queen Elizabeth at the time.
Yeah.
Before I remembered, oh shit, we're going to be streaming on September 11th. Well, I know what else we're going to be talking about.
Sure. Yeah. And I guess the last thing I would just want to say about that is that I rest in peace, of course, always to the 3,000. We ain't gonna forget any of you people.
Yeah.
And to the firefighters and responders, obviously, those people were always the greatest among us. They always will be.
Yeah.
But there were also good stories that came out of 9/11, like Stairway B.
Yes, and again, that's why I say sweepingly, all the responders, all the firefighters, all the police, everybody involved, everybody that came from other states, even all the just everything that everybody did good. Props to everybody that did the good things, and boo to everybody that reacted stupidly, because it was really half and half. And it's important to remember it in its full context, not just one small portion. And it was probably the entire turning point of American history for our lifetime. I think probably all three of our lifetimes.
Yeah.
All three of our lives. We could say that before and after 9/11, our lives were, and America's trajectory as a country was never going to be the same.
And to a lesser degree, I think we can say that about witnessing the end of a legacy like Queen Elizabeth, that we were alive when England, after 70 years, goes from God Save the Queen to God Save the King.
Yeah, both events could be considered things you would tell your grandchildren about.
Yeah.
Or they might ask you about it, and you'd be able to, tell them, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, because if we're going to recount where we were and what we were doing when we found out when the Queen passed, I just woken up like Joshy with 9/11. And I immediately turned on the news. They're like, Queen Elizabeth has passed away. I'm like, I didn't know she was sick.
Yeah, she was, but...
Well, yeah, but I didn't know that. Well, still...
At 96 years old, you don't got to be sick to go from us. You can be perfectly healthy at 96 and wave bye-bye.
But that was my reaction, because, like, not 2 days later, she had met with her new prime minister for the first time.
Sure, and then some people made jokes about that. There was some jokes around about, well, I'd die too if I met that, or whatever.
And that's another thing. Like there have been some people on Twitter who were demeaning the good name Elizabeth because she was the Queen of England, blah, blah, blah.
The ridiculous level of hatred people have in certain sections, I don't understand it. It's like, the woman never did anything to you people. You really should chill out.
And the one of those was, first of all, this isn't the king that ran the United Kingdom during the 1800s, i.e. 1770s. So shut the fuck up. There's no disputing that.
Mm-hmm.
But Queen Elizabeth couldn't be any further from him as a monarch, unless came down and sat on the throne of the United Kingdom himself at this point.
Yeah.
That kind of honor and respect is what I'm talking about here. Now, I'm in no way calling her God or whatever, no. But in terms of human beings, she was arguably one of the most honorable, caring individuals that this planet has seen in probably, in a long time, if not the entire human history.
Aside from any of the hyperbole,
I
would just say, rest in peace to both subjects of the topics today, because they're not necessarily equal in terms of tragedy. Obviously, they're not.
quite obviously.
But in terms of historical impact
and significance,
probably similar.
Yeah, you will remember where you were when you heard that the Queen had passed away, just like you will remember where you were when you heard about the planes hitting the World Trade Center.
I would think that you could show a picture of a crying American after 9/11 and a crying Brit after the death of the Queen, and you can see that they're pretty much the same in terms of impact.
Indeed. But on that note, do you guys have any other topics you want to discuss before we get done here? Joshy, do you got anything?
Nope.
Usually we end these things with a Star Wars Mad Lib, and I don't know where the fuck I put that thing.
Well, regardless of whether we do that or not. Maybe it'd be uncouth.
Maybe.
You know, because we are talking about sort of somber things.
Yeah, but I do like ending a stream like not so somber too.
Oh, I know.
Oh, it's buried under the fucking PlayStation games. God damn it. Well, eventually. I just have to unbury the fucking thing. Because I forgot. I put it on the shelf and I started putting PlayStation games there. Because I was moving shit around. What's so funny, Joshy?
Yeah, just that you like put the thing there and then over. So.
Yeah, well,
I would do the same thing.
So many games, it just buries it, everything.
Well,
games everywhere.
The thing was that I put PlayStation games on that shelf because I had a TV right here and I had the PS4 right here. Well, I since moved all that over there further away so that when I'm on camera for my PlayStation streams, I'm actually sitting behind my desk on camera so it looks like I'm a news reporter playing games or something.
Well, clever.
So, well, that was not intentional. I just realized it when I did like test stream, see how everything looks. I'm like, oh, I look like I'm actually in a studio behind a desk, like I'm a game journalist. The only difference is I know how to play games.
Mm-hmm.
But on that note, get up here, sons of bitches. I'm not as flexible as I used to be. But on that note, seeing as how there's no one in the chat, it's just going to be the three of us for this one. So, Star Wars Mad Lib. The title of this one is Piloting a Pod Racer by Young Anakin Skywalker. Well, this could be bad and good at the same time.
Oh, boy.
So we'll start with Nord, then we'll go to Joshy, then I'll pick the third word. So, Nord, I need a noun.
Let's see.
And while you're thinking, Joshy, I need an adjective from
How about
you.
We'll go with stick.
Okay.
Adjective.
Yeah.
Stick face.
And then for me, verb ending in ing. No, that doesn't work because shortening is not really a thing.
Well, since we're talking about him and his planes, why don't you say piloting?
I got it.
Or a game.
So Nord.
Catholic Kelly.
So Nord, an adjective.
Let's see. Stiff.
Okay, Joshy, a plural noun before you die?
Gay, I guess. Right?
But noun would be a person, place, or thing. Plural means more than one.
Gays.
Okay.
Okay. Sure.
Okay, so for me, part of the body. Nord, adjective.
Okay. Slippery.
What's going on? Well, we're doing a Star Wars Mad Lib right now. We're winding down the stream gaming. What'd you say, Nord?
I said slippery.
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 Okay. And Joshy, verb ending in ing.
E. I don't know.
What'd
With the ing.
It's a verb ending in ing, yeah.
Trapping.
Trapping?
Traping.
All right. For me, adjective then. Something describes somebody like lumpy, soft, ugly. Okay. Okay, Nord, a verb.
How about slap?
All right. Joshy, adjective again.
With the ing or what?
No, it's
Adjective is a describing word.
yeah. Handy.
Any.
Hit. What?
Huh?
What did you say?
I said hitting.
Hitting. Okay.
Well, wait, that's not an adjective. That's not an adjective.
And an adjective would be like hard, soft, slow.
Yeah, describing word.
Soft then.
Soft.
Okay, my turn. Adjective as well. Rob, I need a plural noun.
Okay. We'll go with fighters. Since we are trying to keep a Star Wars theme here.
Yeah, and Joshy, you get the final one. It's an adjective.
I don't know. Adjective. What's that? What is?
Adjective is a describing word.
So like loud, soft, hard, something like that.
Yeah.
That one.
What?
He said loud, I think.
Loud? Yeah. Okay.
Ow.
Okay. Anyway, so this is the story of piloting a pod racer by young Anakin Skywalker. As far as I know, I'm the only human stick who has ever competed in a dick face stakes pod race and ever found yourself at the laughing line at one of these competitions. Here's what you
Yeah,
need to do to make sure you come out of the race stiff.
Oh,
1, trust your gaze.
That's definitely what Kathleen Kennedy would do.
Yeah. Even if you can't see things before they happen, you can at least keep your butt open to look out for slippery pilots or debris.
Debris, yeah.
Well, this certainly went somewhere.
Very suggestive.
Yeah, so that last line. So open and look out for slippery pilots and debris trapping at you.
Okay.
2, keep steering. The key to being a hard pod racer pilot is knowing how to slap, hug those soft curves.
Oh yeah, that's definitely suggestive.
And don't let them intimidate you. 3, always remember, have fun. Your pod racer might look slow hunk of fighters, but if you know how to use it, pod racing can be loud. Well, that was interesting.
I don't know if we were talking about pod racing in that regard.
I'm pretty sure that we were talking about what Kathleen Kennedy wants in Star Wars at all times.
It sounded like it was telling you to take instruction from your gays.
From your gay friend.
And stay hard and ride the curves.
And
wow.
Yeah.
It's very suggestive.
It is.
Yummy. Yummy.
Joshy. So with that in mind, next time we fuck.
What?
I dropped the thing.
No, we will not be doing that.
The next time, yeah, I dropped the soap. Yeah, right. And that's a joke for you, Nerdrotic. Anyway, next time we're live for Breaking Rocks, the next one we'll be doing is Escape to Naboo by Padme Amidala. So we'll see how dirty Joshy gets with that one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Especially if he's imagining that Natalie Portman at that point. I.e. female 4 at that point. Because it ain't my fault that Natalie Portman plays Padme Amidala in the prequels and female Thor in Thor Love and Thunder.
Thanks for ruining it.
No, you're welcome.
Yeah.
But on that note, what are you guys going to be up to after this? Joshy?
Maybe watch some Top Gun Maverick, maybe, and eat. Go to sleep.
Yeah, I gotta admit, man, that's a great film. It really is.
What happened to the white lines on the football field? They're all black.
What?
I'm talking about the Bears-Niners game. The game started, they had white lines and numbers on the field. Now they're black.
I don't want to get muddy. Maybe Netflix took over the production.
Well, normally the lines on a football field are painted, right?
Yeah, again, like I said, maybe Netflix took over.
And they're in Chicago, so or wherever the Bears are supposed to be playing these days.
No, they're in Chicago.
Okay.
They didn't move yet. That whole move.
Okay. That was weird because now the lines are white again. What kind of fucking glitches do the production have in Chicago?
I don't know. They try to erase.
Anyway.
They're always trying to turn everything white black. You know how it is.
Yeah, but either way, yeah, the Bears won 19-10 over the Niners, so that's something.
The Bears.
Yeah. So
there they go, sucking again.
Well, the Bears won, dude.
Well, yeah, okay, granted, they pulled it off, but still.
They pulled it off?
That was a bad game.
So you're talking about a bunch of guys pulling it off, okay.
No, it's like you said, they pulled off a victory, but that was a bad game.
And now they go sliding around the field like it's a slip and slide, okay. Celebrating the victory because the time ran out. All right. Anyway. I could think of a lot better things to do on a wet football field, like, I don't know, go in the locker room and dry off. But anyway. This is since turning into an NFL reaction stream at this point. We should end this. So.
Yeah.
They got too many pussies, so there we go.
Oh, yeah.
So on that note, thank you once again, Joshy, for fighting in the military, attempting to find Bin Laden, even though you're the one that didn't find him.
Oh, now we're guilting him for his story. This is great.
Well, technically, I was only Carl Vinson, and Carl Vinson did find Bin Laden, but I wasn't on better when they found him. So
you set up the pins and the rest of your brothers knocked him down.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. But anyway, and also Rob, thanks for being here again as always.
Yes.
Yeah, as for me, with what I'm going to do, with how we got distracted from that before we went into the Star Wars magic gay thing. And I blame Joshy for that. Because he's the one that turned it gay. Kind of like how what's his name was warning us that they're going to turn the frogs gay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Alex Jones. Well, Alex Jones should have warned us that Joshy was going to turn our Star Wars Mad Lib gay.
I can't think of any for that.
Well, trust me, I blame her for quite a bit already. Speaking of, thank you guys so much for checking this out. For those of you that will after the fact, as you guys well know, we generally don't have a script. We just take notes on what we want to talk about, and then we just shoot from we just wing it from there.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Saints game is on now, so, but yeah, I will get to that. Holy shit, Saints are up by 27-26 over the Falcons. All right.
Yeah, that's one of the games that's about to end also, yeah.
Yeah. I'm more interested in the Packers-Vikings game, not just because I live in Minnesota, but Aaron Rodgers is my favorite player, so. And also he's my starting quarterback in fantasy, so. But as it is, without any further ado, always remember, welcome to the rebellion, welcome to the underground. We are the rebellions. The rebellions, the rebels is what I'm trying to say. Each and every one of us is our own little rebellion. We are the rebels of the underground. We are the rebellion. Welcome to the underground. Underground. Welcome to the rebellion. Fuck Naughty Dog. Raylos are weird. Fuck Kathleen Kennedy, Lucasfilm, Disney, and Electronic Arts. And above all else, guys,
yeah,
that's your cue to say it.
Let's go, Brandon. Of course, as always.
Brandon.
And from me, fuck Joe Biden. We'll see you guys next time. And with nothing else left to say, fade out.